Look at the needs-driven practice. You know, most people who don't come to AACD are probably needs-driven dentists. When you satisfy people's needs, they go away till they have another need. Let me define need. It was defined by Chuck Sorensen quite a few years ago. He said that a need is a feeling that I have, that when I have it, I want to be rid of it and do not want it again. Let me take you, I was fortunate to go to Tibet in 1984 as a mission program and treat some patients in China and Tibet. This is Tibet. This is the government rice dole in Tibet. These people are getting a bowl of rice. They're very hungry. They've got open wounds. They only bathe once a year, and it's a religious ceremony. It was like going back to the 16th century. They have a need. When somebody's hungry, somebody's in pain, and you satisfy that need, they will go away until they have another need. We see an emergency patient in our practice. That's a needs-driven patient. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later under this hierarchy of needs. But let's move further. If you're a needs-driven practice and you satisfy people's needs, because see what Dennis was doing for Mindy was he was satisfying her need, but he wasn't using her need as a learning opportunity. And because of a number of things, and it would take a lot more time to figure that out completely. But we want to understand that values-driven is what you want. That's why you're at AACD, because cosmetics and aesthetics are values-driven in their essence, period. It makes it easy. So how do you define a value? It's a feeling that I have that when I have it, I want more of it. This is Danny. He's now 28 years old. When he was 8 years old, I want to tell you a story about value. When he was 8 years old, the teacher said, it was Halloween. Write a story for Halloween. Third graders, right? So Danny wrote this story about Halloween. And he brought it home as a little third grader, and he gave it to his daddy, and he said, Dad, here's a story. It had a smiling pumpkin face on it, and it said, very good. And I read it. And as I read that story, he taught me, you know, your children are like Zen masters. They just teach you things that are unbelievable. So I'm reading this story. It's about the giant pumpkins. Do you remember the giant pumpkins from Peanuts? They had invaded San Antonio. That's 80 miles to the south. They had destroyed all of San Antonio. This is the writing of an eight-year-old, third grader. And they had destroyed San Marcos and New Braunfels, and now they were in Austin. And these giant pumpkins got their food by eating the hair off of men's heads. Some of you like this story already, don't you? My friend over here and I, we aren't bald, we're just taller than our hair. And I'm reading this, and then they had destroyed part of Austin. They came to my house. They met my dad, who's bald. They didn't know what to do. Dad killed the giant pumpkins and saved Austin. Why do I tell you that story? Because you see, it's about value. So Danny becomes Hemingway, our great author, and you'd probably pay thousands for that story. The early writings of the great author. He's not an author. Doesn't even write much anymore. How much is that story worth? I embossed it in plastic. It's in the top drawer of my dresser, which is a very sacred place. How much would you have to pay me for it? It's priceless. I rebuild a person. I open them, their vertical. I establish the occlusion that they wanted. I give them the phonetics that they could have. I help them see a window. Like Jeanette. When Jeanette came to me, she didn't like her transitional. She'd been to 3 other dentists, and they said it looked fine to them. It didn't look fine, guys. But the point was not the transitional. The point was she had so much emotion around that transitional. As I listened to it, it didn't compute. Does that ever happen to you? I've come to you because you've been told that you are the dentist. I do have a number of dentists in my practice. And I said, uh-oh, when you hear that, what does it make you feel? Well, you like it because they're telling you how great you are. What do you also feel like? Uh-oh, there's trouble here. And I said to her, well, as I'm listening to you, and I've listened to what Sandy told me about you, there's a lot of intensity about what's gone on here. Well, they tell me it looks fine, and I don't think it looks fine, and I really think it needs to change. This can't be right. And yet I saw his partner, and he told me it was okay too. Okay, it can be changed. Values driven. When they come in, we stand to greet them and recognize who they are. There are 5 levels. I've talked about that. The people in crisis, the emergency care, they need immediate attention. Level 2, remedial care, desired treatment only for something that's broken. And like Mindy that was talked about earlier, usually little effort, low cost as possible. It's the traditional exam. The next level we work toward is level 3, self-care we call it. This is a level where somebody wants their teeth a lifetime in excellent comfort, function, and appearance, but they want to go very slowly. They want to come in with their foot on the brake. They want to let you know that. Wouldn't that be nice to know at the front end, guys, that this person wants a comprehensive exam, but wants to move slowly in this process? And then they want to move to the next level, which is, I really am ready to get going with some things, and I'd like to move ahead. Same exam here as here, it's just that we're going to move much slower in that level 3 than we do in the level 4. We're going to move to treatment quickly. Level 5, I talked about wellness resource. Send me to people in your community who can help me become healthier, become more whole, become perhaps lose weight, etc., deal with stress. Those are the 5 levels of entry. Gene Goldsmith, formerly with Nordstrom's, who's our health relationship coordinator.